Well, hello all. Very hot here in California, giving us warnings that starting tonight, for the next 5 days, we're supposed to have really bad Santa Ana winds and winds that come out of the east that cause massive fires. The local electric company here that feeds most of California, at least Northern California, is PG&E, and they're saying get ready for a possible 5 days of no electricity because they don't want to have the power lines start any fires during these horrible winds, because that's usually who starts the fires. So instead of fixing the equipment, they just shut off the power. That is so typical of the way corporations work, isn't it? They just, could fix the equipment so that it can hold up in high wind. But that doesn't seem to be their issue. So for the next, starting tomorrow, we could be out of power and seeing a lot of smoke in the air, or we might skate through this year. I don't know. They're sure taking a lot of precautions this time to try and stop any kind of fires. And as dry and as hot as it's been all for the last 4 or 5 years, I can't imagine how dry things are today and tomorrow. The humidity is probably about 5 or 6%. So what are we going to talk about today? Let's go over to the board, and I want you guys to help me figure this out. I'm curious about self-driving vehicles, or autonomous vehicles as they're being called. I know that they use radar or some sort of RF signal to bounce off of things, which then they get back and they can tell how far away those things are by the signal speed at which it goes out and comes back. The bounce, the reflection. But what is that signal that's coming out of these little radar emitters all over the car? And are those all over inside the car too and outside? Are we all getting bombarded with 5 or 6G super high wavelength frequencies? Or is this pretty safe? I don't know. I can't find anything on it. So let's go over to the board and I'll show you what I mean. So we'll just take a blue car. First of all, here's the street. And here's an overpass. So there's an overpass going over the street. You sort of get the picture, right? Now, you've got a wall down the middle, and you've got cars going this way and cars going that way. So, here's your self-driving car right here, and here's another one here, and here's a truck here. Now, to get these cars to go where they're supposed to, from what I'm understanding, is that each side has a transceiver, or a responder or something like that, and on all 4 sides. And then on top of the car there's usually 4 of them, and on a truck there would probably be about 16 of them, something like this, right? Or even more. So each one of these emitters are emitting a signal, bouncing off the wall, and the signal is coming back. And that's how the car knows where it is. Such as a pole in the middle of the intersection, or in the middle of the overpass, that may block some of the road. This car might have to go like that. And these signaling devices bounce off of things and comes back into the receiver. Now, the question is, if people are walking along the sidewalk, here and here, are they going to get this radiation coming at them? Of course they are, and bouncing back. So how much of radio frequency is going all over the place, and we're going to completely immerse ourselves in high frequency radio waves, such as 4G, 5G, and 6G. Now these signals would have to absolutely be pretty powerful because you would want them reliable. The lower the frequency, the more interference and the less chance that they'll you'll get the echo back. So they're going to have to be pretty powerful little transmitters. So what frequency are we being bombarded with? Now I know that the cars, the top of the car, the unit up there is a GPS device, which also helps keep it where it's supposed to be. And in that case, you are getting radio frequencies going up to the GPS device and back. That's why I've always stayed away from GPS, because you're being bombarded day and night with RF from that stuff. And that, again, has to be a little bit higher power to get the signal up to the satellite. Again, with the phone, the GPS is right there in the phone, sending out signals all the time. We're really seeing a large amount of RF increasing around us. Higher frequencies. These have to be very high frequencies to fit in a phone. The higher the frequencies, the more questionable it is on what it's doing to your brain, when it may end up doing some kind of feedback loop in your brain, because the frequency of your brain is the same as that and interferes. The brain uses frequency and electricity to get our signals around our body. That's why we have to be so careful about what we're doing with this stuff and what it's doing to us in the long term. So, one other thing, I just wanted to tell all the creators out there that are putting out the videos, I really appreciate you guys. I understand the disappointment you get when it seems like no one's watching your video. But I also have to remember that YouTube is suppressing our videos. But I do believe that we're getting much higher numbers than what is being said. And the reason I believe that is because we get more likes when there supposedly hasn't been anybody to come by. There's been no movement on the video views. So, I don't know. My numbers are down over half. They keep going down more and more. The subscribers are going down. Pretty soon I won't even have a channel if it continues on this way. So, if you appreciate what I do, give a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and subscribe if you feel like it. And if you don't. It's YouTube. So, I appreciate all the ups and the downs and the new subscribers, and definitely the comments. What is your thoughts on electric autonomous vehicles? Good, bad, don't really care. Personally, I think electric, more efficient trains and high-speed subways and that type of thing is far better than trying to have autonomous vehicles driving all over the place. If we went underground with high-speed rail, you could get rid of most of the roads and bring back a lot of the wildlife and start to work on trying to get climate change under control. As I've said before, you need real, serious change. And the stuff that all the candidates are putting out there right now, there's no change coming, other than Bernie Sanders. But he is still on the corporate bandwagon. And that's one thing we have to get rid of, is the corporateness, and go back to small independent ownership of farms and businesses, and get away from these horrible corporations that don't give a damn about what they do to our planet.